This post is all about the importance of eating meat. Here, the pasuk is in Parshat Noach, Rishis Yud, Ches and Tes. So the Psukim goes, Chushav Nimrod, Hu hechel liyot gibor ba'aretz, Hu haya gibor tzayid l'fnei Hashem, Al kain ye'amar ki Nimrod gibor tzayid l'fnei Hashem. And firstly, just to point out, it says, what does it mean, Al kain ye'amar? Therefore it is said. This seems to presuppose that there's some kind of saying that's coexisting with Matan Torah, or in which people say this. And in fact, that's what Ibn Ezra says, okay, Miyamar, Mashal Haya, Gam Bimei Moshe. It's talking about some extra-biblical saying that was contemporary to the time of Moshe. And the question is also, what does it mean? What does Ibn Ezra mean by Mashal Haya? So sometimes Mashal could mean a metaphor, a proverb. Right? So if it's so you could compare something, maybe Nimrod, Gibor Tzayid l'fnei Hashem. Also, occasionally the Moshlim seem to be poets. And if you look in parshablog, I think it was, and so you could say that this was a citation of poetry that was known at the time. But what does it mean, Gibor Tzayid l'fnei Hashem? Why specifically l'fnei Hashem? So there's an interesting midrash brought down in you can't see it here we go, Bereshis Rabbasi. It's a midrash, presumably by Rav Moshe Darshan, who Rashi cites a number of times. And it goes on, Al-Keni Amar Nimrod Gibor Tzayid, Lama Nikashimo Gibor Tzayid, Lefi Sha L'Adam Rishon Lo Hachul Basar Ta'ava. That Hashem didn't permit meat to be eaten for one's own desires. V'lo Hachulo Ela Sadim Ufeiros. At least he only permitted herbs and fruits because the world wasn't created for the purpose of things dying. Etc. This is Parak Aleph Chaftes. Aval Noach Hitir. To Noach, after he left the Teva, he permitted it. Tzaddik u'Vanei Kol Habrios Yud Beis Chodesh. Hitiram kulam lo echal b'schara. Chadu d'chsiv kol emes asher hu chai, etc. This is in the previous parak, Tes, pasuk Gimel. V'afal pichein lo rasa Noach uvanav l'echal mehem k'dei shifru v'yirbu ba'olam. Noach and the sons didn't want to eat animals because they wanted the world to be populated, and so they wanted them to be fruitful and multiply and go all over the place. So Amar Noach, Eini Ochel Mehem. I'm not gonna. If I don't eat them, Yiga Behem. And therefore, who is going to touch them? Who's going to harm them? They'll just everybody will leave them alone. Kishamad Nimrod Amar, when Nimrod got up, he said, "Kadosh Baruch Hu Itivam Lanu." Hashem permitted them to us. Neima Ein Anu Ochel Mehem. How come we're not eating from them? Hitchil Atzud V'Achal. And he began to hunt them and eat them. Because he did the commandment of Hashem, and he hunted and he ate, which seems to cast the eating of animals as a type of mitzvah, which is an interesting thing to point out to vegetarians. A slight update. I would just say, looking at the context, and specifically the word Yamar, that it's said, and also comparing it with Rashi, it seems fairly clear that Ibn Ezra is regarding it as a type of proverb and a mashal, meaning that you're comparing somebody to Nimrod rather than it being some kind of poetry of sorts. It's also interesting to compare the account of what it means, Lios Gibor, like Nimrod Gibor Tzayid l'fnei Hashem. This midrashic account in Bereshis Rabbasi with the traditional midrashic account. If you look, for example, in Targum Yonasan, it says Hu haya gibor merodah, etc. It's gibor b'seidam merodah kadam Hashem. When it says L'fnei Hashem, they're assuming along with the general negative picture that's painted of Nimrod. So this is that he was rebellious against Hashem, and similarly Targum Yerushalmi, it says Hu hava gibor b'sadia b'chet'ah kadam Hashem, with sin before Hashem, and it goes on to account exactly what this sin was. In fact, Rashi carries along this midrashic approach, which is also L'fnei Hashem can, in other contexts, connote this. It's a Kabbalism that can be used to imply rebellion. And in fact, it says, Lias Gibor Lahamrid Kol Ha'olam Al HaKadosh Baruch Hu Tzastar HaValadah. So he's Lias Gibor, that Rashi says that the Gibor is L'fnei Hashem, is that he was strong in possibly in capturing people's hearts to rebel against Hashem. So that's one type of approach, and it's not necessarily only midrashic. One can claim that it's pshat, but Ibn Ezra gives a pshat that gives an explanation that he holds as pshat. That he says, okay, Vitam, 1 second, where is it? Right, he says that he was Nimrod al Tavgesh Tam L'chol Hashem Elfon Imlon Echtav V'echel L'herot Gurot B'nei Adam Al HaChayat Ki Hu Haya Gibar Tzayid. That this is he was the first of the strong people because he was started to hunt the animals. V'tam L'fnei Hashem Shahir Bonem is B'chot Umala Osam HaChayot Olo L'Shem V'zo Derech HaPshat V'drash Derech HaCheres. So he says that the pshat level of it is that he hunted these animals and he sacrificed these animals on Mizbech, and that's what L'fnei Hashem means. I don't necessarily subscribe to this explanation as pshat level. You might say L'fnei Hashem, if you were asking me what Pasher Pshat would mean, would be, I would say that it's a measure of extremes, like Ab L'Shamayim, and L'fnei Elokim. So L'fnei Hashem might be a similar type of measure of degree. Possibly. I would really need to look in concordance to back this type of claim up, but it's possible.